welcome. We're gonna welcome. I want to first of all, I want to give a shout out here to Raymond, who's with us tonight on this broadcast number 381. Did I get it? 382? Episode number 382. We are live, and I got to get a little bit of this background music in. So Jim's with us all the way from Tucson, Arizona, all the way from Maine. Somewhere in Maine, Raymond and myself, Santos, here out of Stockton, California. So welcome. We're going to get started here. We are started already. I just want to make sure that we get everything lined up. Before I tell you guys, get excited tonight. We are going to, let's grow. We're going to talk about journaling. Could you use some journaling basics, maybe some reminders about what journaling can be for you today? So we're going to discuss this and a little bit more. And we're going to remind those of you that are here by way of Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch that gambling is a big fat lie. So get in, buckle up. Come on, get in, buckle up. Make sure that you're nice and tight. Turn down all distractions. Grab a pen. Hopefully you've invited a friend. Anyhow, once again, I'm Santos. I'll be your host here for about 35, 40 minutes. Jim out of Tucson, teacher Jim, businessman Jim, and we've got Raymond. So we're going to give Raymond, I know he has some things that he would like to share and questions, what have you. Hey, I'm up for a challenge. Jim is up for a challenge. I hope you're up for a challenge. And the rest of the community here. Let me get back to the comments. Now, is the music too loud?
I can't hear music.
I can hear it.
Okay, there we go. Let me turn it down. So, Raymond, thank you for being with us. I appreciate your support. And, you just made my night, man. You made my night.
You've told me a few times that I've made your day or made your night.
Yeah, you want me to tell you what I mean by that?
Sure.
You know what it means. It means that you motivate me. You inspired me. That's what it means. How? Well, it's an encouragement when I know that what I'm doing is reaching out to people.
Absolutely.
And when let me get this thing down here. When people are changing and people build relationships, right? They build allies. It's a wonderful thing to know that you're building allies and relationships with people that are pure, people that have not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but coming from a pure character, I truly want to help and support others. And I truly want to feel supported too. So that's what I mean when I say thank you. You inspired me. You motivated me tonight, being here tonight on this broadcast.
Well,
Sure.
I have a thank you for you and Jim because your videos really helped me quit gambling, and Jim's videos have really helped me try to put my energy in a better direction.
Right on.
Congratulations.
Right on. And
well, gambling was one big thing that I needed to rid out of my life, and I feel like I'm in the PNGZ now.
The PNGZ mindset. There you go. So let me ask you, how long has this been? Or I know it takes time to build. I got a problem with my lighting in here. Let me see if it'll work this time. Because it'll get a little bit dark. So you've had the challenge a little bit. Hey, Race, welcome being with us, and anybody else that's watching by way of Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Again, this is episode number 382. We're live. This is interactive. Raymond is sharing with us. Race, we're waiting for you to come on the camera. So let me see. So it was a challenge. Obviously, we all go through this challenge. How long was it until you really began to experience like some breakthroughs? Like, man, I can do this. I'm gonna win.
Well,
Did it take you 6 months, a year, 2 years?
I've been gambling for like 5 years, And I don't know, I was probably losing between $1,000 and $6,000 a year.
Wow.
And I don't know, I just never was able to stop myself until I got some outside motivation. Just one thing I needed help with.
And how did you find? Did you? I mean, did you stumble across my channel, or was there somebody else maybe
Yeah,
you came across?
I
Did you?
like searching YouTube videos onto topics that I enjoy learning about, and I found I came across a bunch of your videos. So I don't know. I probably watched just about every video that you have on YouTube, and it just really helped me.
Yeah.
It helped me quit. It really helped me quit. And like I say, I've got a lot of parts of my life are nice, but the gambling was a real black spot on my life, and I really feel like I'm getting to the point where I don't really think about it, and I really don't want to do it anymore.
That's the PNGZ mindset right there, man. Once you get
But
in there,
I probably need to spend a little bit more time doing positive things in my life. Like,
and you were you into the what kind were you into the did you go into the casinos? Were you doing scratchers? Were you sports
scratchers,
betting?
just scratchers.
Wow. That can be a horrible mess.
I scratched thousands of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's man, that's a it's a true blessing and an honor to get to meet you and see you face to face here. And I truly hope, man, that you continue stay with us here. You know, I know that you've been supporting. I truly appreciate your support, and everyone else that's been supporting. I truly appreciate all your support. You know, stay with us. And again, I'm always asking anyone that's available for time, if you have, you know, people see needs, right? We see needs. This is a mission. Obviously, my mission is very simple, right? The goal is to remove people out of problem gamblers out of the fire, right? Get them out of the fire and just simply move them into the PNGZ mindset. That's it. Get them out of the fire, move them, right? Get them out, move them in. Maybe that's
You
what I
know,
should, you know.
Santos, the thing that amazes me is that with all the gambling that takes place in our society, you would think that there would be more people like you helping people get out of the fire.
Mm. Well, there are, but you know, everybody's very unique in how they do things. Um, you know, I'm very grateful. Jim has come along. He's been a support here. He's been a motivation for me also. There are other people I have associated with several others, different channels, and we've brought people on here in the past, and I may do that again in the future. I find it conflicting sometimes when somebody's competing for views and channel and they're involved in gambling problems, and they have a channel. Sometimes there's been some, well, it just didn't go too well. Some of those people that I had invited, they're still out. In fact, I don't even know if they're out there, but there are some good people out there. There are. I admit, I may be biased because I've been here since 2016, and I personally live in the PNGZ. And the PNGZ doesn't just mean permanent gambling, right? It could be something else. It could be a permanent no gambling zone mindset for something else. It could be for scratchers. It could be right for the casino. It could be for cards, or maybe you're dabbling. Listen, I have a friend of mine. I've been really studying the crypto industry because I've gotten ripped off a few times, and I'm intrigued and I'm curious by the crypto industry. Very, very intrigued. It's a trillion. It's trillions, trillions with a T of dollars moving through this blockchain. Oh, why did I say that? I think I got distracted. I think I got off track here. What I wanted to say. Maybe it wasn't important for me to talk about that stuff. Anyhow, let me get back on track. I know that we have a proverb coming. We have a proverb coming into that I want to read, and then we're going to look at a little bit into journaling I want to give Jim an opportunity to share a little bit. And then Raymond is with us here out of Maine. So those of you that are here, interact. It'll come back to me what I was going to say about the PNGZ mindset, right? We can be gambling with different things. A friend of mine, what I was going to say is a friend of mine just dumped $4,000. He trusted a friend of his with a coin, with a token on a so-called blockchain, and the coin doesn't even exist. It's not even traded. So he wasn't too happy when I told him, after he had dumped $4,000, that was a gamble. Man, do your homework. I teach people, listen, there's money to be made. There's money that can be generated through blockchain, through DeFi, right? Through NFT, through cryptocurrencies like Solana, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, but you've got to do your homework. They're already set in motion. If you look at these things, for instance, Bitcoin, and I'm sharing this just a little bit to help us understand that you have to do your homework. When you look at Bitcoin, over 150% return since its inception. Has it gone up and down? Yes, it has. But has it risen since its inception? If you would have had $100 or $200 in Bitcoin and just let it sit 3 or 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, you would have been pretty wealthy by now. I missed it. I don't know if you did, Jim, but I remember buying Bitcoin years ago and I lost my wallet.
Raymond, I'm kind of curious about your story. We talk about scratchers, we talk about cryptocurrencies. I'm kind of curious about your story. Sometimes it's that initial win, whether it be cryptocurrency or, a scratcher that paid off tremendously. Was there anything that hooked you? Did you just happen to buy a scratcher one time and it came up a big winner? Is that the reason why you were into that?
I would say that I never had any kind of a big winner. I would say that I just really, and even though I lost my money, it was kind of like the thrill of playing that hooked me. And like I said, the action of trying to win money, and I don't know, I could kind of deal with the losses because it kind of made me happy for quite a while.
Mhm.
But in time, I kind of learned, I kind of figured it out that it just wasn't a good enough thing, after a while.
Did you
So
feel that
I'd say for the first what?
Did you feel that it was becoming a problem? Did you
Yeah,
feel like
I think that it was a lot of fun until I eventually came to the conclusion that it was a problem.
what made you what happened when you identified it as a problem? Was it like going out
Well,
late at night buying tickets, or what was it?
just doing a budget and seeing how much money I was losing.
Oh, okay.
And those thoughts that you were talking about like, oh gee, why did I just blow all this money on tickets when I could have done it with something else?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of leaving me with that kind of thought, those kind of thoughts, it just didn't resonate well with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we have a tendency to kind of block out those things, um, because it's unpleasant to see what reality is. It's like, oh my gosh, like a lot of people don't do a budget because they will realize it's like, oh my gosh, look where all my money is going. And it's kind of frightening, I think, to go out and kind of look at reality. But that's something that we have to do. We have to kind of look at our lives and be real with ourselves to see what's going on. Because I mean, if we kind of stop and kind of think, and get off of the focus thieves, we can start kind of picking up on a lot of things that we can go and change in our lives, things that are not going quite well. I mean, there's so many focus thieves going on that distract us. And, enough of those focus thieves, it prevents us from kind of looking at what's going on in our life, what our habits are, spending, what are we eating, what are we doing with our time, what are we listening to all the time. It just takes our mind away. I can't believe I was just thinking about how 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 sometimes it's difficult to concentrate on something with so many things happening, like the news, um our imagination. I mean, like work, those can be focus thieves. You can go ahead and think about all sorts of horrible things that can happen You know, if you don't do this, if you don't do this, what if this happens? What if that happens? You know, and it just can go ahead and really mess up our minds. So yeah, it's important to kind of have some time to be quiet and kind of reflect upon our lives. And you did that right there, Raymond, to go out and look at, you know, what's going on with my spending? What's going on with my spending? I mean, that's an intentional effort. A lot of people don't do that, you know, and, you know, kudos to you for making that happen.
Yeah. By the way, I want to say that those of you that are here, I have a PDF. It's just a free PDF. That's all it is. It has to do with today's topic of journaling, and we're going to get into that just a little bit. We're not going to get through this, but we're going to talk a little bit. Why is journaling important for the problem gambler? How could journaling actually help you? Even if you just do it once or twice a week, right? I find in my darkest moments, nobody's around. Well, God's around. I know that's for sure. But my journal is around because I keep it on my phone. Let me get into the proverb real quick here, and then we're going to get into a little bit more. If Raymond wants to share, or if he has a specific question. The reason why we're talking about journal basics or journal 101 is because Raymond wanted us to, again, your good life is going to come out of a good series of good, constant, positive reminders. Why not remind ourselves about a wonderful life hack that we can take advantage of anytime? Well, just about any time. If you're driving, you shouldn't journal. But any other time, you can journal. And you might find yourself alone. Like Gladiator. Remember the movie Gladiator? If you find yourselves alone, what did he say? Don't fear. You're already dead. You're in Elysium. Anyways, I don't know why I threw that in there, but the journal is there. It's available for you. You can pick it up anytime, especially during your darkest moment. That's when it becomes real. Journaling becomes real to you in your darkest moment. When you sit there and you open it up, whether it is a book, whether it's a physical notebook or a digital journal, depending on your preference for writing and hand or typing. In fact, I put on here, you can even use a napkin, a piece of paper. I remember when I first started journaling, I would even write on a napkin and I would keep it in my pocket and I would open it and read that napkin and I would write in, and I would keep that napkin as a reminder and I would put it in my pocket, my wallet, and I would have it for weeks. And that napkin would turn into a piece of paper or something else. And then eventually it turned into a notebook. Whatever it is that you need to remind yourself, even if you're sitting in traffic and you're driving, you pull out that little piece of paper from your wallet and it's a journal, right? It's got some statements that you put on it for you that you wrote about yourself for yourself. Again, you're feeding the mind, right? Mind, mouth, power, congruency. You're using your mouth, a self-talk, your mind, your eyes, you're looking, all those faculties. And I think that's what really helped me. Let me get into this and then we'll get some thoughts going. 29:11, Jeremiah. So journaling is good. For I know, Jeremiah 20:11 out of the Old Testament says, for I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Isn't that interesting? An expected end. What in the world is an expected end? It's an end that just finishes, or does it just end? No, it's an expected end. It's an end that will lead into something better. And we're all going to face this transition. Every one of us. We're going to go through that door. Anyhow, thank you, God, for that proverb. And I see questions. If you have a question, I see the numbers. If you have a question, please, again, you send me an email. You can do it through the link there below. I'll give you a copy of the Basic 101, PDF Journal Basics 101. Let me see if I can show you there. Oh, PDX basic. There we go. See? And I even show there's an app on there for a digital journal that you can use. Powerful. Anyways, thoughts. Sports talk only. Thoughts. Angela Jacobs. Pedro, thank you guys for coming. Go ahead. Any thoughts from you, Jim?
Yeah, I was wondering for Raymond, uh, it seemed like you said you were looking at your spending. Did you have a particular targeted goal that got you looking at your finances, or was it just something that you just kind of thought of to go and take a look at your spending?
Well, I would watch like Dave Ramsey videos and videos by like millionaires and billionaires, and they were basically saying that if you could reach $100,000 saved, that's really a milestone that'll help set you free financially. So in order to figure out how I was going to get to $100,000, I had to figure out what I was doing each month.
Mm-hmm.
So I started keeping track of my expenses and my pay and making sure that I was saving a good amount every month.
So you basically set your sights on that expected end, as Santos was talking about. You were envisioning, a brighter financial future,
Yeah,
right?
and I have a goal of reaching a certain amount by a certain age.
Hmm. Okay. And that's a noble goal. That is something that is, something that really kind of realigns this kind of channel. The reason why I come here, the reason why I like this channel, the reason why I come on is it's all about personal development. How can we go ahead and develop ourselves in a positive way? What can go ahead and make our thinking stronger, our habits stronger, a way to kind of analyze, what we're thinking, what we're doing, and why we're doing all these things. And I mean, getting out of an addiction is something that's really positive, because that's moving us in a better direction, a direction of hope, a direction of improvement, where we can see a brighter future for ourselves and other people around us. And we need to have that kind of light. We need to have some type of goal, some type of focus that's kind of noble right there. And a financial future, a bright financial future, gives us more choices. I know that Dave Ramsey always said that, it's like you don't want to be broke eating Alpo when you're retired. And yeah, I mean, we can go ahead and look at a future that can be lacking, or it can be a future that has choices, and then we start making a plan, right? We start making a plan. We start looking at the budget, right? Where is all my money going? Oh, it's going to gambling, to these scratchers, Shoot, if I continue on this path, I'm never going to reach my goal. This thing is going to stop, right? This thing is going to stop. And you start coming up with these plans, you start creating these ideas. Once you have a good goal, right, it starts creating, it starts using our imagination in a positive way. It's like, well, how can I do this, or how can I do that? And that's what I encourage everyone on this program. Pedro, you're suffering from like sports betting, and you just got nailed, it seems like. And yeah, I mean, like it hurts, but I'm encouraging to go ahead and use that pain. Use that pain to go ahead and direct you in a positive direction, to go ahead and move you to a positive goal of just never going back to the sports betting. Trying to figure out, learning about yourself. Why do you go to sports betting? What is that hook? What's pulling you over there? Find out about yourself. This is something that you don't like. It doesn't make you feel good, Pedro, and it's now time. It's time, I think, to go ahead and start looking at who you are, why you're getting affected by this stuff, and what you can go ahead and do to start changing yourself to move you away from this awful addiction.
Yeah, we're not alone. We're not alone. There's many people that are winning today. I just got a comment on my YouTube channel. I want to read it from. Actually, this is two comments I want to read. This guy here says, this was a recent comment. Man, I'm 18 years old. I've lost over 3,000 euro from sports betting. At this money I've earned, though the time I have worked this summer, and I can't live together with this. This young guy says, I can't. I keep lying, and sometimes I stay late night thinking, what if I didn't bet? Where's your money going, folks? You know, I heard something really interesting the other day. Natalie, Grace, Pedro, and Sports Talks, Angela. Oh boy, I'm just letting myself get too distracted. What was it that I heard the other day? Here's another one. Just wait a minute. Just a minute ago, I have lost so many money over the years. I need help. If not for me, for my sons. I get people telling me help, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me all the time. And I do my best to reach out to most of these people. There might be 1 or 2 out of 5 that I don't reach. Journaling is a good tool you can take advantage of. You can start taking advantage of. Well, I don't have a book. I don't have a digital app. Get a piece of paper, fold it in half, fold it, put it in your pocket. Take a quarter of it and start writing out. What are you going to write on your, what would you want to write about, Raymond, in your journal? What's interesting to you to write about? Maybe right now, right, you can't think, but when you sit down with your journal, your mind will start giving you ideas. What's important for you, right? What's important for you? What's important for your growth?
Well, that's just it. I'm talking if I'm doing a journal, it's going to be for me to improve my weak areas of my life.
Okay. So then,
because I'm not worried about the strong areas. I'm worried about the weak areas.
Okay. Okay. So how would you, let me see, how would you have a unique way. Everybody has a unique way of using the journal, right? Typically you just write. Another thing is writing is good. I think we've forgotten. We type now, but I used to do a lot of writing. And when you use all your faculties, these little life hacks, you would think, well, that's not going to help me with gambling. If you haven't really put it to the test, you don't know. You're using your mind, you're using your hand coordination, you're using your thoughts, right? And you're focusing energy on something. When you do that, it kind of leaves an impression on you. When you write a letter to yourself and you read it over to yourself a couple times, it simply just does something good for you. It actually does very good for you. In fact, I've mentioned this before. Write yourself a poem, 3 or 4 sentences. Read that poem every morning until it sinks into your head. Simple things like that. Yeah, I remember. In fact, I used to write on my skin when there was times where I had thoughts where I wanted something. I wrote right down. If I had a pen, I always carried a pen with me. Usually do. I write it down on my skin, right there on the back of my hand, because you can write on your skin. Sometimes you ever get paper, sometimes you can't write on it. You can get a pen and you can write on your skin. Whatever it took in order to twist my twisted thinking, or begin to untwist my twisted thinking. Journaling 101 was at the top of the list there for a long time. I still journal every day. Well, I'm not going to say I journal every day. No, I don't. I journal every other day. Sometimes I'll journal once or twice a week, but I'm always still utilizing that tool. Set a routine. Pick a time that works best for you. Morning, evening, or whenever, right? You have a quiet moment. You're stuck in traffic. Open up your piece of paper and start writing in there, or start reading it to yourself instead of playing the music and country music. I broke the bottle over my head and I had to go out the door and I left to the casino. Play that music and stuff while you're driving. Pull out your little journal and look at what you're writing. Focus. Focus. Beware the FTs, the focus thieves. All right, any thoughts? Gloria. So you're here. Soak it in. Soak it in. PNGZ as much as you can. We're getting ready to end here in about another 15 to 20 minutes. So soak it in, folks. Write down your question. Ask a question. Get ready to come back on Wednesday. By the way, if you enjoy what's going on here, support this channel. You can support this channel financially. You can donate financially. You can donate $1. You can donate $25. You can support it by commenting. You can support it by sharing a video, by giving a thumbs up, and by subscribing. That's how you can support this mission, and we'll support others. We'll support together, and we'll build together. We can build together if you're willing. We can become ally here within this community. I hope someday we can really, really start pouring more ideas instead of just talking about gambling all the time. Right? That's my goal eventually. But PNGC mindset, that's numero uno.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jim, this question is for you. Like when you do a journal, like can you give some examples of like what people would write in a journal and how that could help them by writing it down? Like let's say somebody wanted to quit gambling. Like how would writing things down help you out?
One of the things that I do when I journal is oftentimes it's interesting. A lot of good ideas come from when I wake up from sleep. That's something that I do. There is a lot of focus and thought before going to sleep. Could be about a problem or trying to solve an issue. And I think quite a bit about that before I go to sleep. And sometimes, it's those kinds of problems are tough. But when I go to sleep, I wake up and it's amazing how many ideas I get to go and solve those kinds of problems. Another thing that is very helpful to me if I'm trying to find good ideas, for people on this show to go ahead and break addictions, is to get away from distractions like music, Bluetooth, accessibility to listening to YouTube, any of that kind of stuff. Being alone with your thoughts. And these ideas come into your mind. Sometimes it's difficult. Okay, look, our mind, our conscious mind is trying to force a goal. Let's say trying to quit gambling. And yes, you could be away from distractions, from everything, but you keep on thinking about it, but you get frustrated. You're frustrated because you don't have any answers. You don't have any solutions. It's interesting. If you can think about, this idea of finding a solution to your problem and let it go, be away from distractions. Your subconscious mind will find solutions. It's so interesting. So interesting. Good ideas will come. And that's where you have to go and have your paper and pen ready to go and write down those good ideas. So I encourage people to go and be patient about finding good ideas to journal. Look, if you're going to go and journal to go ahead and beat this addiction, you really should have focused journaling. What do I mean by focused journaling? What are you going to be writing about? What do you want to concentrate on? Who was it? Pedro was having problems with sports gambling. If you're having problems with that there, Pedro, I need you to go and start writing about everything that got you to that point, when you lost, how you felt, how you feel, what got you there, right? It's like taking aftermath of a car accident, right? A wreck. Write down everything that happened, post-mortem, and you start kind of like giving yourself space. Santos, you talked about writing down things, right? Physically, that gives you some space, some time to go ahead and really think, take action, and write down those ideas. And you start kind of opening doors. And it's like, I did this, I did that. This led me over to the casino, took me off onto the exit, the off ramp. You know, I got my money back, but I spent it. Why did I go ahead and like gamble again? You know, think about all those ideas and write them down, especially in those hot moments, right? In those hot moments when Pedro, this is a great time to journal there, Pedro. Right when, you know, you're feeling the maximum pain. When everyone is feeling maximum pain or emotion, start writing stuff down, because that's where you can go ahead and open up a lot of doors to see what's going on in your life, you know, and you know, it can start the process of finding solutions.
This is, yeah, there's many life hacks. Let me see if I can find something. By the way, Raymond, did I send you a copy of my book?
No, sir.
Okay. When you get a chance, send me an address. I want to send you a copy of the latest book. This has got a section in
Santos,
here.
I
Yeah.
already bought it on Amazon.
Oh, did you? So you already got a copy? Did you get it? Okay.
I
Right
got a
on.
digital copy.
Okay. Right on. There's actually a newer version of that book. And I gave a couple away. I've got a couple more. I've got maybe one or two more that I'm going to give
Okay,
away.
I'm gonna send you my address.
So I'll put a little note in here for you and I'll send it to you because, you know, you've been a good support. So I'd like you to have this, at least a hard copy of it. And this is the newer version. So it's going to be a little different. So I put these books up. I've written several books. I don't know. I've probably got another 3 or 4 more books that I've written. Writing does something to you. It does something to your brain. It does something to your sight. It does something to you emotionally. And I've got so much material that I could probably put books together. I some of that stuff I don't want anybody to ever know what I've written about. That's what a journal is sometimes too. You don't want anybody to know what you wrote in that thing. It's a release. It's a mechanism. Your pain and your hurt, you're grieving, you can release it onto pages. Or, like I said earlier, you can use this app. It's called the Perspective app. It's on your phone at the Play Store. It's interactive, it's free, and you can donate to that app too if you want to, but it is free. It's interactive, which means it has technology built into it to help support you in your journaling basics. So it'll talk to you. The app will talk to you. So if you forget to journal maybe once or twice a week or whatever, guess what? You got an app that's going to give you your good life is going to come out of a good series of good, constant, positive reminders. Right? We use technology. Sometimes technology is rotten. I personally believe that these autonomous robots are going to cause major problems if they're here long enough. These robots that they've created, they've got one that's called Optimus. If you can see where this is going, folks, technology is building upon technology. I'm going to share this with you because this is reality. Cryptocurrency started out with just a few coins a couple years ago. It was Bitcoin was one of them. It was one blockchain. Today, there are thousands of blockchains and there are over 20,000 cryptocurrencies. It's growing. All of this is growing. So technology can help you if you use it the right way, or technology can destroy you, right? Technology is being put into these are not phones, these are computers, handheld computers that allow you to make phone calls. But there's software that's being built in here that's going to allow people to sports bet, to casino bet, to play roulette bets, to roll the craps bets, to play the cards right here. And you can play bingo and pingo and dingo, and you can fall into all that lingo if you want, right on your phone, right on your computer. And people are falling This is very, very, it's very, because it's subliminal. You know, you don't realize it's happening. It just kind of, it's a night out with the guys. Hey, check out this app. Check out this thing. Next do you know, it's fun, right, Raymond? Oh man, it's fun, especially if you want to.
It's fun at first until it becomes a problem.
So there you have it, Natalie. Let me see. There you have it. Until it becomes a problem. Pedro, until it becomes a problem. Race, Sports Talk, Gloria. Who else was with us here? Angela. Yeah. Akinduro. It's fun until it bites you in the rear. And then sometimes I feel like I'm walking around with a piece of my rear missing because it took a chunk out of me. Anyhow, going forward, we're almost done with the broadcast. We're coming down to the end of the wire. So we're just talking about a tool here that you can use. Simple tool. You can use a notebook. You can use the digital app on your computer phone. You can get a napkin. You can even write on yourself if you need to, just to remind yourself for the day. I'm going to do this, right? Or I'm going to work on this. Or this is what I'm working on right now. This is what I'm working on right now. This is who I am. This is who I am. The more you look at that, look at it. Don't run from it, right? You wrote yourself, got up in the morning, you wrote, you know what? I'm a quitter. I stopped gambling. Look at it. You're driving around, you don't want to look at it because you think about the casino, right? I don't want to look at my hand, man. My hand's talking to me. Journaling is powerful depending on how you use it. Write freely. Don't worry about how you're putting things together. Just write. Get it out. Be honest. Use your journal as a safe space to reflect. Jim mentioned this earlier. Use a journal as a safe space to reflect on your true feelings. You can write in a journal about the good times that you have, right? That's probably something you won't do as much. Maybe you'll spend more time in the journal when things are going bad. Write about the good things. Write about your little victories, right? Write about your accomplishments. Write about the problems that you might have had that you want to be remembering so you don't encounter that, or when you do encounter that problem the next time, at least you wrote about it, right? You went through an experience. It was a horrible thing. You went through it. You might remember it pretty good, you typically. But when you write about that experience, you wrote it down and you put a date and time on it. Now you've got a little bit more cement. You're drawing a line in the cement, like I say, not in the sand, right? You don't want to draw a line in the sand because the water, the waves of storms of life and the problems of others and all of these, it's like waves. It washes that. But when you set line, you draw a line in cement. That's like the P&G mindset. P&G mindset is like drawing your line in the cement. And that's not to say that you wouldn't gamble. You could fall. But there's a difference between making a mistake and staying there and growing forward and continually realizing that that's something that you don't really need in your life anymore. Keep it simple. Journaling doesn't have to be long or complicated. Even a few sentences about your day or how you're feeling. P.O.I, points of interest. 7, review occasionally. Every so often, look back at your entries. Look back. I've got a journal that I read. I've got so much. I go back and I read and I say, man, I remember writing about the person that I wanted to be today. Isn't that weird? Strange, maybe? I remember going back in my journals and writing about the person that I am today. 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago. This is who I want to become. This is who I am. This is who I am becoming. This is who I am. This is who I am. I would write one sentence. Truth. I would write one sentence. This is who I am, or whatever it was that I was writing. I would write that over and over and over and over and over and over until it began to just stick into my mind. Repetition, repetition, repetition. That's how I did my journaling. Sometimes I would write the same thing over, 1 or 2 sentences, until it just impacted me where I said, man, I've wrote this enough times. So it's a powerful tool, folks. All right, we're coming to the end. Raymond, you've got some thoughts. Let me see. We've got some comments. I know Jim's got some thoughts here. Folks, we're going to be back here on Wednesday. We're going to be back here at 7:30. I appreciate all of you guys that are chiming in. This is the numero uno. So don't bust my chops. No, I'm just kidding. I might be biased because this is my labor of love, right? Since 2016. It keeps me excited. It keeps me accountable. As long as I'm here, I'm always accountable, right? In the PNGZ. And that's what I want to give to you guys. You guys can have the same thing. And it doesn't have to take you 32 years. It doesn't have to take you 6 months. If you see this, you see it, what it can do for you, how it can impact you, not just your gambling lifestyle, but where's your money going? Your money. You want to grow your money. You want to save your money, especially during these dark times we're living in. Are we not living in dark times? All right, folks, I've got my call to action. Jim, you got some thoughts? Raymond, Pedro says, I'll be back Wednesday. Right on. Make sure you guys are subscribed. If you're not, turn your notifications to all. Once you subscribe, you can set the set of settings. Somebody told me the other day, I hear this here and there. I didn't get notifications because you're not setting it. When you subscribe, turn it to all. That way, when I make a video or I go live, you'll get a notification. You'll get first dibs. All right. So again, you can feel free to support this mission. You can, somebody said even, Santos, if we wanted to give, you can give. There's ways to give. If you want to give, there's ways to give. You can actually do this. If you're here and you want to give, here's the quickest way that you can do a $5 or $2 or $3,000 donation if you have it. Don't give it to the casino. Right there. It's called Cash App. And everything that I do here is to pay people to help me expand. That's what we do with the finances. Pay for this program right here, StreamYard. This costs several $100s a year, this StreamYard program. I think like $300 something a year to run this StreamYard program. So there it is, Cash App. Did I put Cash App? You're welcome to do whatever. And if you don't feel, you don't have to. You can share, you can like, you can give, whatever. Anyways, bye. Go ahead, Jim. Raymond has a thought.
Yeah. I was just thinking about something that a YouTuber, or no, it was a TikToker, was saying. He asked this question: is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the juice worth the squeeze? What does that mean? I mean, is your activity worth it? And I think that's where, I think we talked about this before. You know, the bottom line is you have to ask yourself, are you worth it? Have you convinced yourself that you are worth the effort, time, and energy, the pain, you know, to do the things necessary to move you to that better place? You know, I have to ask myself, you know, am I believing in it? You know, that am I worth it? Am I worth it to go through all this stuff? You know, the hardship, the work, the pain, you know, the vulnerability, right? That kind of stuff. And I think that's something that you talked about it before, Santos. You know, self-talk, affirmations, convincing yourself that yes, all these things, journaling, you know, I'm worth it. You know, the actions that I take, I am worth it because I have big goals. You know, I see a brighter future for myself and I want that. You know, I believe I deserve it. I believe I deserve a better life. You know, and I think that's something that I think that's a bottom line question that everyone needs to, you know, affirm, you know, and answer to themselves. Yes, 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 yes. I have goals. I can see a brighter future. I want a brighter future. I deserve a brighter future. You know,
We can do it, providing we associate with the right experiences, whether it be community, through books, through videos, or even through a coaching. Hey, I offer a 45-minute strategy session to anyone that is very serious about wanting to begin their first step towards freedom. I will give you 45 minutes of my time. We will do a Zoom. We will do a Skype video or a FaceTime video session, 45 minutes. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, you got to bring a goal, because I'm going to work with you to help you achieve your goal, right? We may not achieve it in 45 minutes, obviously. It's a step forward. I offer that. One session, completely free. All you got to do is hit me up at the website. As long as I have time available, we'll get you on schedule. Whatever I can do. I've got books available. We've got tools. We've got courses. I've got something called GABA, the Gambling Addictions Breakthrough Academy. It's actually a digital course of videos that you can, I don't even know if we still have it available on the website. $60 or $70. It's a course of 6 or 7 videos. You've got email. You've got some bonuses in there. It's called GABA, the Gambling Addictions Breakthrough Advance. So private videos you can watch on your phone. You can watch on your PC. And it's me and you in the dojo, in the classroom. The ABCs of how to get serious and break this thing and hit it out of the park. So we've got all of these tools available. We got to get the word out to help more people. Instead of somebody spending, $25 in a casino, they can spend $25 on a couple of books and at least feed, you could feed yourself, right? That's what we're trying to do here. Nobody's getting rich. The only people that are getting rich are the people behind the casinos. And there's just a handful of those people behind the casinos, right? Because Jim, Raymond, and Pedro, and Natalie, and Raish, you know what they do with your money every night, right? You know what they do with your deposits. If you don't know what they do with your deposits every night, there's a video on YouTube. It's about 60 seconds on my shorts. I tell you exactly what they do with your money every night with your deposits. Okay, let that be. All right, we've come to the end of the program, folks. Again, I know I know it's hard. It's hard to just, man. Come on, Santos, man. Can't you stay for another 30 minutes? You guys aren't going to stay for another 30 minutes. Come on now. So we're going to be back here Wednesday, 7:30. Don't bust my chops. All right. We're moving into the PNGZ. Sometimes I have a little bit too much caffeine. It's okay. It's all right. As long as I don't go gambling, right? That's what matters. As long as I stay in the PNGZ. So we're going to be back here on Wednesday, 7:30, I believe, 7:30 PS, Pacific Standard Time. Invite a friend. Bring a pen. Got the golden one this time. When you got the golden pen, you know you're doing good. And I am issuing a challenge for the next 7 days. Do not gamble. Are you with me? Lift up your hands if you want to. For the next 7 days, I challenge you not to gamble. I challenge you to say no. All right. And I also challenge you to start journaling this week. That's my call to action, is that you start journaling, at least study it, learn about it, Google it, go to YouTube, go to the blockchain. There's journals on the blockchain also. All right. So journaling has been a reminder during dark times. It is also an ally that accepts you with anything. And journaling is a no judgment zone. So thank you for being with me. Those of you that have been here on the broadcast tonight, Raymond all the way from Maine, they're on the East, Jim all the way from Tucson, and myself. And again, thank you, you guys. Appreciate Keith. Keith sends a support here. Appreciate you, Keith. Wanted to say I lost a lot of money on the one thing I realized: the casino and the dealers don't care. It's horrible. Thank you, Keith. I'm glad you came. You got it, guys. We got to stick together here. We got to stick together. We got to grow this community. Who knows what we can do on a podcast in one of these, man? Who knows? I'm telling you, get excited about what's happening. All right. So thank you. Jim, last words. Raymond, last words?
Well, I think if you can fill your life with as many good things and weed out some of the bad things, it'll help you enjoy life. I mean, alcohol, if it's okay if you have a drink here and there, but if it becomes a problem, you kind of got to weed it out.
Yeah.
Gambling can become a problem. Smoking can become a problem. You can do things like read. You can read books. You get all kinds of enjoyment from reading a book. You can go on a run. All you need to do is buy a pair of shoes, some shorts, and a shirt. You can eat healthy. There's all kinds of good foods that you can eat that are healthy, that'll help keep your blood pressure low. And, it's a never-ending story. There's just so many different ways in life. You can either make your life better or you can make it worse. You can build your house on the rock or you can build your house on the sand. And we know what happens when you build your house on the sand.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of sand movements in the world today. A lot of water and sand destruction. Yeah. Jim? Pedro says deceivers. We've got about another minute or two. Deceivers, cons, ripoffs, cheaters. Yes. Do you know where your money goes? Where your deposits go after they... Jim?
Yeah, Raymond has a great point. When you gamble, you double your mess up, because when you lose, not only you lose your money, you lose your rent, you lose your bill payment, you lose your future, right? But when you do the things that Raymond talks about, those good habits, instead of losing, you're like multiplying, and you're leaving the garbage way down here, and you're moving higher and higher and higher. All the good things that you compound: exercise, eating well, saving your money, having good solid goals, right? Man, you're going to go, if you start that snowball, you leave the nonsense, in the dust, and that's a wonderful feeling right there. That's a wonderful feeling to go ahead and know. And that's why you journal. You write down, this is where it stops and this is where I start, my better life, and then you can go back on your journal and say, look at how far I've come.
There you have it, folks. Again, I only wish the best for all of you that are here with me tonight by way of Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hope you've gotten something out of this. We'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you all.
Thanks, Raymond. Thanks, Santos.
Thank you, Raymond.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Santos.
Take care. Bye.